Have you ever had this nagging feeling that the woman you're investing your time, money, and emotions in might be taking advantage of you? I'm talking about that pit in your stomach, that little voice in your head whispering, something's off. Guys, if she's using you, it's not your imagination. And today, I'm going to give you the clearest signs to watch out for so you don't end up wasting your time or energy on someone who doesn't deserve it. Let's get into it. Jessica OS here. Welcome back to the channel. She only calls when she needs something. Let's start with one of the biggest and most obvious signs. She only reaches out when she needs something. I mean, think about your interactions for a second. Does she call you just to chat about her day, to check on how you're doing, or to share something exciting that happened? Or are her calls always tied to a favor she needs? For example, maybe it's late at night and she suddenly hits you up saying, hey, can you help me with XYZ? Or worse, she doesn't even sugarcoat it. She says, look, I need $200 for my phone bill. Or, can you pick me up because I don't have a ride? Now, don't get me wrong, helping a woman or someone you really like or care about is totally fine. In fact, it's what healthy relationships are built on, mutual support. But here's the difference. A woman who values you will also appreciate your help and also be there for you in return. But a woman who's using you, her pattern is predictable. She goes quiet when she doesn't need anything. No texts, no calls, no cute messages saying, I miss you. And then out of nowhere, she's in your DM with an urgent need. And get this, she knows how to play it sweet to get what she wants. Suddenly she's calling you babe, dropping hearts in her messages, or even complimenting you like, oh, you're so amazing. I don't know what I'll do without you. But as soon as you come through and give her what she asked for, she disappears again. Let me tell you, that's not love. That's not even friendship. It's transactional. And also, let me tell you, if you don't catch on to this pattern, you're going to keep draining your resources, whether that's your money, your time, or your emotional energy for a woman who doesn't truly care about you. She's hot and cold depending on your generosity. Look, this isn't a coincidence. It's a strategy. Here's how it works. When you're giving her what she wants, whether it's your time, money, attention, or doing favors, she's sweet, she's affectionate, and she's even borderline clingy. She might text you constantly, call you babe, act like you're her whole world, right? It feels amazing. But then the moment you say no or set a boundary, she'll pull away. Suddenly, she's busy, she's distant, she starts acting like you don't exist. Let me tell you, this behavior is designed to control you. By withdrawing her affection, she's trying to train you to associate her love with your giving. And it's psychological. It's classic reward and punishment. If you're not careful, you'll find yourself bending over backward just to keep her happy all the time because you don't want to lose that version of her who's sweet, loving, and attentive. But let me be real with you. That version of her is conditional at best. It only shows up when she's getting what she wants. Guys, this is more than just annoying. It's a psychological trap. When someone alternates between giving you affection and pulling away, it creates something called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same tactic that makes slot machines and gambling so addictive. You don't know when you're going to win, so you keep playing, hoping that the next pull will pay off. Remember, if this is happening to you, this is not real love, it's conditional. A woman who truly cares about you will be consistent in her affection. If you notice that her warmth and attention only come when you're being generous, it's time to recognize that you're not in a relationship, you're in a negotiation. She avoids defining the relationship. Yo, let me hit you with the tough truth. If she's avoiding defining the relationship, it's not because she's confused or just wants to see where things go. It's because she's keeping her options open, and it's as simple as that. And while she's doing that, she's enjoying everything that you bring to the table. Think about it. You've probably been seeing her for months. You've taken her out on dates, spent countless hours texting and calling, maybe even introduced her to a few people that matter. But every time you try to have the "what are we" conversation, she sidesteps it. I mean, she'll say things like, oh, let's not rush into labels, or I just want to enjoy what we have right now, or my personal favorite, why ruin a good thing with unnecessary pressure? Now, at first, these excuses might sound reasonable. I mean, after all, nobody wants to seem clingy or overly demanding, right? But here's the real question. Why is she so comfortable reaping the benefits of a relationship, your time, your energy, your money, emotional investment, but unwilling to put a name on what you're building? Here's the reality. Avoiding labels is a classic move for someone who doesn't see you as a long-term priority. Think about it. If she truly valued you and saw a future with you, she won't hesitate to claim you as her guy. She'll be proud to say, this is my man. When a woman avoids defining a relationship, it's often because she's keeping her options open. Remember that. She may be dating other people on the side, or she's waiting for someone else she considers better to come along. In the meantime, you're the safe option. You're the guy who's there for emotional support, the free dinners, and whatever else that she can get without fully committing to you. Take it from me, you're losing self-respect every time you settle for this ambiguity. She plays the victim. Now, let's talk about a tactic that's manipulative as it is common: playing the victim. She's always positioning herself as the one who's been wronged, the one who's been misunderstood or mistreated. Watch out. This isn't a red flag, it's a blazing siren. A woman who uses this tactic is trying to make you feel responsible for her happiness, her failures, and even her past. Now let me explain how this works and how it keeps you trapped. Here's the setup. She'll constantly tell you stories about how everyone in her life has let her down, her ex-boyfriends, her friends, and even her family. She'll paint herself as someone who's been dealt an unfair hand, someone who's always the victim of other people's bad behavior. And naturally, as the caring guy you are, you'll feel the urge to step in and prove that you're different. You'll want to be her knight in shining armor, the one who finally treats her right. But here's the twist. No matter how much you do for her, it'll never be enough. Why? Because her victimhood isn't about her past. It's a tool she's using to control you. By making you feel sorry for her, she's putting you in a position where you feel obligated to go above and beyond for her every time. You'll start giving more, doing more, sacrificing more to make up for all the bad things she claims to have experienced. And every time you start to pull back or question the dynamic, she'll remind you of how much she's been through. It's a guilt trip that keeps you hooked. Breaking free from this dynamic starts with recognizing it for what it is: emotional manipulation. If you notice that her stories of victimhood always seem to shift the focus away from her accountability and onto your guilt, it's time to set boundaries. She keeps you away from her inner circle. Now, if she's serious about you, she'll want to include you in her life. You'll meet her friends, you'll meet her family, and the people who matter to her most. But if she's using you, she'll do the exact opposite. She'll make sure you stay at arm's length from anyone that's important to her. And there's a reason for that, okay? Here's the thing. When someone truly cares about you, they want to share their world with you. They want their friends and family to know who you are and see how great you are. It's a way of validating the relationship, ensuring that you're an important part of their life. But when she's using you, that inclusion is the last thing she wants. Why? Because keeping you away from her inner circle will serve two purposes. One, it avoids accountability. If you're not part of her world, she doesn't have to answer any awkward questions about who you are or why you're in her life, right? So basically, she can just keep things casual and undefined without anyone calling her out. The second reason is it keeps her options open, as I've already mentioned. Let's be real. If she's seeing other people or not fully invested in you, she doesn't want to risk someone in her circle spilling the beans or exposing her double life. By keeping you separate, she can maintain control over the narrative and continue using you without the fear of being caught. Now, here are some classic behaviors I want you to look out for. Number one, she'll always have an excuse for why you can't meet her friends or family. I mean, whatever the excuse is, it's always vague and non-committal. Two, she'll avoid taking you to her usual hangouts, a place where she likes to chill, right? Three, she changes the subject when you bring up meeting her people. Four, you will feel like you're living in two separate worlds. If she's keeping you away from her inner circle, it's a clear sign she's not as invested in the relationship as you are. And let's be honest, this kind of behavior doesn't just hurt your time and energy, it also damages your confidence. So you don't want to be in such a situation. She's never there when you're struggling. A woman who genuinely cares for you will show up when you're at your lowest, not because she has to, but because she wants to. If she's using you, the moment you hit a rough patch, she's nowhere to be found. And it's not a coincidence, it's a choice. Guys, this isn't just about a one-off behavior. I'm telling you, it's a pattern. Relationships are supposed to be partnerships. They're about mutual support, where both people can rely on each other. If she's not willing to show up when you're struggling, she's showing you that she's not invested in the relationship. I'm telling you. A woman who truly cares about you, look, one, she'll check in on you without you having to ask. If she knows you're going through something, she'll text, she'll call, she'll see how you're holding up. 2, she'll offer help, even if it's in the smallest ways. Maybe she can't solve all your problems, but she'll show you she's there, whether that's by lending a listening ear, bringing you dinner, or just spending time with you. 3, she'll make you feel like a priority, right? She won't act like your struggles are an inconvenience to her. Instead, she'll want to support you because she cares. If none of these things are happening, my guy, it's time to take a hard look at this so-called thing you call a relationship. She never reciprocates. Relationships are about balance. They're about give and take. If you're always the one giving your time, your money, your emotional energy, and she's always the one taking without offering anything back, it's not a relationship. It's a one-sided exchange. And guess what? You're the one getting the short end of the stick. Now, this is how the dynamic usually plays out. Number 1, you're always the one initiating, whether it's texting her first, planning dates, checking in on her day, the effort always comes from you. If you stopped reaching out today, will she even notice? Will she even care? 2, she rarely, if ever, does anything thoughtful for you. If you're the one who's always going above and beyond while she just sits back and benefits, it's a red flag. 3, she makes excuses when it's her turn to step up. Maybe you ask for a small favor, like helping you with something, lending an ear when you're down, or just showing up for you. And she's suddenly too busy or finds some excuse to avoid spending time with you. 4, you feel unappreciated. Deep down, you know you're giving way more than you're getting, but you keep hoping that if you just keep trying a little bit harder, she'll start to give back. Spoiler alert, she won't. Here's what to watch out for if you want to catch such behaviors early. Number 1, you want to test her effort. Yes, the next time you're planning a date, suggest that she chooses a place or activity. If she refuses or gets annoyed, it's a sign that she's not willing to put in effort. Another way you can do it, number 2, say no and observe her reaction. If she's only around because of what you can do for her, guess what? She'll pull away or act distant the moment you stop giving. Number 3, ask for something small, and it doesn't have to be too big. Maybe ask her to grab coffee for you or help you with something simple. Her willingness or lack of it will reveal a lot about how invested she is. 4, pay attention to how she treats others. And this is key. If she has a habit of taking more than she gives with her friends, her family, her colleagues, chances are she will do the exact same thing to you. Let this sink in. So here's the truth, guys. A woman who's using you doesn't value you for who you are. She values you for what you can do for her. And the worst part, if you let it go on, you're not just losing time and money, you're losing your self-respect. Trust me, don't let that happen. My name is Jessica OS. I hope you found this video helpful. I'll catch you in the next one. And if you like it, please smash the like button so I know that you enjoyed the video, and share this video with another brother so he can be informed as well. Cheers.